Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Nishma. How are we?
Very well, thank you, Gabby. Very well. How are you?
I am good. I'm good, thank you. I'm excited for this chat. I know
Oh,
we always have good chats. I feel
hey,
when it
yes.
comes to dentistry, and this is an important one. I know we had a little bit of a conversation when the NHS long-term workforce plan was released earlier this month, and there's a few parts of it that we want to discuss here in relation to dentistry. So I think a good place to kick off is what are your initial thoughts when you saw it?
I think my initial thoughts were so. Obviously, it's a massive document. I think it's 133 pages, something like that.
Mm,
So I went straight to the overview, like you do. And if you look at the overview and the summary, the first thing that was apparent is there wasn't a single. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not a single mention of dentistry or dental.
yeah.
Not a single.
Hmm.
So straight away, I feel that that tells you a lot about where we stand within
Absolutely.
the NHS or the plan in general. Why was there no mention? You know, why are people's views not being taken on board? Patients are gagging for dentists, yet this plan has been put together, I just don't see where we are in that. So that's one. But then when you look at the actual detail and the such
Yeah.
like, it's great in that this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. We're going to stick with this. We're going to continue supporting HE's advances in dental care. And we're going to do it,
Yeah.
which is great. But we've heard it all. We've heard it all. We've got more money. We're gonna get more dentists on board. We're gonna get more dental schools open. That's really again great, but we can't even sort out a contract, and how long has that been, right? So what, in the next few months we're going to sort out where we're going to have a dental school, who's going to be in charge at dental school, where the funding is going to come out. The funding is there, good. How many dentists, we're going to onboard all these dentists, we're going to get them through, and then once you finally get your act together, after all the politics are over and done with, after people have finished fighting over where this is going to be and how we're going to do it, to implement it and then get a single graduate through takes 5 years plus the rest, whatever that will be. Patients need help now. They need help now. So I just don't see how this is, when you talk about long-term plan, I didn't realize it was that long-term, right? It's a long-term waiting for it. And so what do I say to Mrs. X? Oh, sorry about your pain, but if you just wait 25 years, there will be someone to help you, so don't worry about it. Or why don't we just get a load of dentists over from another country and they can see how crap the system is here and then they won't want to work in it either. So I don't see how that's an alternative. Is the other thing is, well, don't worry, we're going to get, and I think I saw that in long-term plan as well, is we're going to try and remove the barriers to get people.
Yeah.
To me,
Yes,
I have a moral issue with getting people from overseas. I feel that certain developing nations need to keep the talent within their country, not
Yeah.
be going out there and raping the system of the talent and bring them over here. I just don't think that is such an old school idea. But even then, when they come over here, what are we saying? That, well, they'll work for nothing, so don't worry about it. If the contract is that rubbish that we don't want to work in it, why would people from overseas want to work in it? Or how are we guaranteeing that they are, obviously the GDC's, it's a GDC's job to make sure that they are going to be on par with our credentials, but that takes time as well. So what are we doing right now? That's the issue that I have with the long-term
I,
plan.
I feel all of what you've just said. There's so much I want to say, and you've caught me on a day where I've got a lot of adrenaline, and I'm thinking, oh, I could really make this political right now, but I'm trying so hard not to.
Right, right, that's wrong.
Just stay calm and focus on the facts of what you've just said. Yeah, everything you've just said, I completely. I mean, I was nodding the whole way through that, so I completely appreciate your frustrations as a dentist and somebody who's on the ground working as one. What I do think was interesting about the workforce plan was there was a part where it suggested tying in graduates. A very loose suggestion, I will add. I know a lot of national newspapers have kind of gone to town with that comment and come to a lot of conclusions that weren't actually said in that suggestion. It was put forward as an example that perhaps dental graduates could be kind of tied in to the NHS. What are your thoughts on that?
So yeah, I think in the long-term plan it says to encourage, or NHSC
Yeah.
along with the government will look into encouraging, and it goes from that straight to the Daily Fail. NHS
Yeah.
dentists forced to stay. I mean, it's just drama. It's catastrophizing, and it's absolute nonsense. It's the narrative. There should be no forcing of anybody to do anything. And where does it stop? Are we going to stop teachers that are every degree is subsidised by the taxpayer,
Yeah.
right? Number one. But are we going to stop teachers from working in the private sector? Are we going to stop people that do business to go into the private sector? Are we going to stop lawyers? Where does it end? It doesn't, right? So to say that for dentists is ludicrous. What needs to happen is the narrative needs to change, because I do a lot of work with foundation dentists. I do a lot of work with the younger generation, and I'm hearing them, and they do feel when they qualify, they would like mentoring and support and maybe more of it. Some of them, the hot shots, they don't feel it. And then fine, go do your thing. But those that do feel they need more support, it's not a tie-in, but maybe if there was a longer time spent doing foundation training or being mentored within an NHS environment, what's wrong with that? I do think there should be more by way of keeping them within the NHS, because for me, when I graduated and I was working in the NHS, it's not practicing and then go and do it privately on real patients. That's rubbish. You will always maintain your you should always maintain your integrity when you're carrying out treatments. It was more, you do a lot of it. So at the moment, when I'm seeing NHS patients, I am quicker. That comes with time. That comes with expertise. That comes with, I've been doing it for 20 years. 20 years. How was it 20 years? Hello, 20-year alumni. So 20 years that comes with. So it's almost like, to me, it's akin to saying, you've learnt the theory in piano.
Okay.
Now go and play a bit of Gershwin. I want Rhapsody in Blue. Go and play it. Do it. It's ridiculous. You can't. Now, I also have an issue with the way that the system works with, I've been doing this 20 years. So surely my work will be of a certain skill compared to someone who's just graduated. Yet within this system, you're all paying the same. So would you want to see a piano concert where I'm playing Rhapsody in Blue, or someone who's just learnt the theory and is going to play it? And you've got to pay the same ticket price. It's ludicrous. When I go to get my hair cut, I go to see a master stylist, because I'm a snob like that, and that's 150 quid or whatever it is, 135 quid. But if I see a junior stylist, that's 75 quid. It's just, we need common sense in dentistry. And if that means that people stay within the NHS because it's incentivized, because they're giving back, because we pay for student loans, because it's a really great freaking place to work, it's like, this is amazing, work here. That's what will make us stay in there, not because you're being tied in. It's the wrong narrative. It's the wrong. We no longer will be led with a stick. We need carrots, and we need them desperately.
I think everything you've just said there is really important. I completely agree. I think something you mentioned earlier was that this is a long-term plan. We need something now, and obviously you've just mentioned some pros of, you know, incentivizing people perhaps to work in the NHS if it's the right move for them, giving them that option, more support. They can do better dentistry potentially if they have that mentorship available. What other things do you think need to happen now? What can happen now to help NHS dentistry survive these next 12 months?
You know, Gabby, just without sensationalising, right? It's really hard. It's really hard right now. NHS dentistry, I'm at the end of my tether. Like I said, 20 years I've put into this. 20 years I've been doing this, and it's just not fun. The analogy is, so I work in a fully private practice, and I work in a mixed practice. And the mixed practice that I work in, hands up, is a lucrative. It's not lucrative. That's not the right word. It's a very affluent area in which I work in. But when I'm working on the NHS, I am treading water. I'm treading water, and I feel like I'm drowning. I'm seeing 30 plus patients a day, and I feel like I'm drowning. I see the worried well, it's great banter. I like to talk a lot. So it's lovely getting to know them, all the rest of it, but it's just, I've got to hit a target. How do I hit a target? They don't need anything. I've taken care of them for the last 10 years. They don't need anything. So where am I supposed to pull this target out from? How am I supposed to, what is it that I'm being incentivized to do, right? That's the question. What am I being incentivized to do if I have to hit a target, but they don't need anything? What am I being asked of here by commissioners, by the place that I work at? So you're treading water, and it's exhausting. So you feel you're going to drown, you feel overwhelmed, and at the end of the day, I'm shattered, I'm demoralised, and I'm devalued by the system that I work under. Compare and contrast, now I've tasted it, the fully private practice, where I am able to choose which stroke I want to swim, I'm doing lengths, I'm going back and forth, I'm able to stop and take a break. It's a breath of fresh air. It's good for me. It's good for my mental health. It's good for me physically. And I'm really enjoying it. It's elegant. It doesn't come without its own stresses. I'm still battered at the end of the day. I'm still exhausted. that is the nature of the beast. We're dentists. But you feel like it's good for you. You feel fulfilled. I'm not doing it for survival, which I feel that I am when I'm treading water with the NHS. They're completely two different ways of working. Incentivizers, what is it that makes me feel this way? It's the lack of oxygen. It's the lack of being able to, I have too many things to do, too many patients to see, too little time. I don't have the capacity, like referrals. Patients are like, well, why hasn't that referral been done? Why is it so hard? Because it doesn't take 10 seconds just to log onto the bloody system. It's not common sense based. It's so long-winded, and then it gets sent back because of X, Y, Z. Then you send it back, then it gets sent back again. Where's the patient care in that? Why is there so much red tape? I just don't feel supported.
What is it about the NHS that will make people want to stay in it?
I think it's personally, I think that ship has sailed, and I think it's just too little, too late. Been waiting and waiting. What's it now? 17 years for change, and it is. I don't want to use the term lightly, but it's gaslighting. It's made us feel all this time just slowly being chipped away and feeling demoralised and feeling devalued, but thinking, look, it's coming, don't worry, it's coming, it's all in your head, this is fine, this is a system that we work under, this works fine, this works for patients, this works, but it doesn't work for anybody. Actually, it actually doesn't. And the mental trauma that I think it puts on us as practitioners, the guilt it gives me when I'm dealing with patients on a day-to-day basis, knowing that I could be offering them something else, or I should be taking longer over it, which, I think one of the biggest issues to patient safety at the moment is the current system that we work under, by far, and something needs to be done with that system. And I think the regulators are aware of this, and I do think their hands are tied in some ways. So I don't think, unless something drastic, incredibly drastic, was to happen right now, unless we have people, that are apparently trying to fix the contract right now, which they have been for 3 years now. I think Rachel and Rebecca have been working on this. I just see people admiring the problem, saying how complex it is. I don't see anybody actually doing anything tangible. Here, have a couple more UDAs. Doesn't make sense to me. So I don't think there's anybody who's actually working the system coming up with a solution. And all we keep saying is that there is no solution. So stop gaslighting us, and let's try and figure out how we can help people, help reduce inequalities, and maybe it's time to think about a core service. I don't see how else we're going to get around this. Oh God, that's doom and gloom, isn't it? That's horrible. But I've battled with it in here. Like I said, I don't want to leave the NHS, but I feel like I have no choice.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to have a chat. I don't think you need to apologise for anything you've said there. I think it's all relevant conversation, and I think a lot of people will relate to what you've said. And as always, Nishma, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day.
Not at all. The absolute pleasure as always, Gabby. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.